Alright. The cotangent of theta is equal to 4/3. Find the other six trig functions and state which quadrant theta is in. Okay? So, alright, come on. Load. Allow me to write on the document so that I can do my work. Anytime now. Alright, so definitely skip ahead to whenever I'm actually able to start writing. I'll have to buy a computer with more RAM. So 4 is going to be, instead of tangent is opposite of adjacent, so cotangent is adjacent over opposite. So theta is, the adjacent side is going to be 4, the opposite side is going to be 3. 4 squared plus 3 squared is equal to 16 plus 9. 16 plus 9 is 25, so the hypotenuse is 25. Alright, so the cotangent, yes, let me look. So the cotangent of theta is equal to adjacent over opposite. So that's 4, this is 3. When we draw our triangle with theta, our adjacent side is 4, opposite side is 3. 4 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. 16 plus 9 equals c squared. 25 is equal to c squared. Take the square root of both sides, and c is equal to 5. Alright. So, now that we have our three sides, 3 is the opposite, 4 is the adjacent side, and 5 is the hypotenuse. So we need to find the six trig functions. Sine of theta opposite our hypotenuse, that's going to be 3/5. Cosine of theta adjacent over hypotenuse, 4/5. Tangent of theta opposite over adjacent, which is going to be opposite is 3, so 3/4. Cotangent is obviously 4/3. And then cosecant, flip the sides, 5/3. Secant, flip the sides. That's going to be equal to of theta 5/4. All right, which quadrant? Well, the 4 is positive and the 3 is positive. So because the 4 and 3 is positive, positive x, positive y. When x is positive and y is positive, that puts you in quadrant 1. Because when you look at it here in quadrant 1, it's positive. So that's 53. 54, oh, this will be a doozy. A particular location, the coast extends over the water. The height of the water on one of the supports is 5.4 feet at low tide at 12 a.m. and 11.8 feet at high tide 6.2 hours later. Okay, so by the way, let's draw this graph out. So this is 12 a.m. and this is going to be, by the way, 1/10 of 1 minute is 10 minutes. So this is going to be at 6:12 a.m. This is a difference of 6.2 hours. And also, we have which equation at 12 a.m. We are at 5.4 feet. And we're at 11.8 feet 6.2 hours later. So we're at 11.8 feet. The midpoint is going to be the average of the two divided by 2, so we can do 5 8.4 plus 11.8 divided by 2. So we have 8.6 as our midpoint. So that's 8.6. All right. So we're at this point here, and this point here. This is the midline. So first of all, we have this sinusoidal function, and so if we're going to continue it, we'd continue the function, we'd have another 6.2 hours, and we'd be back to where we started. That'd be at 12:24 p.m. All right. What's that? 12:24 p.m. Okay. Anyways, let's see what we're looking at here. So, first of all, we need to find the amplitude is the vertical shift in the midline. So we know it's going to be A or B because we'll have a shift of 8.6. And this is a question of what the period is going to be. So here, the period is normally going to be, the distance between maximums or minimums. Here, we can see that the total distance between minimums is going to be 12.4. So when the period is 12.4, we know that 2 pi, this is just from our sine equations, 2 pi over b is equal to our period. So when 2 pi over b equals 12.4, 2 pi is equal to 12.4b, and so b is equal to 2 pi over 12.4, and you can simplify this to pi over 6.2. And when do we have b as pi over 6.2? That's in option choice B, pi over 6.2. So that's going to be our answer right here, answer choice B. So that's 54. You have to just understand sine functions. We've already done 55. If you know this problem really easily for 55, you already done it, but you can just do 70 tangent of 70 tangent of 41 minus 70 tangent of 32.5. All right. Let's solve such that. So let's figure out when the sine of theta is 1/2. Looking at your unit circle, the sine of theta is 1/2 in two places. Here, it's when you have root 3 over 2 1/2. And then here we have negative root 3 over 2 1/2. These are two values of unit circle, and those values are going to be when theta is equal to 30 degrees or when theta is equal to 150 degrees. Alright, so those are the two values on the unit circle. Solve such that 0 is in between theta and 360 for the sine of 2 theta equals plus 1 equals 1/2. So now we have to have the sine of 2 theta equals to subtract 1 negative 1/2. So looking at this unit circle, when does the sine of 2 theta equal negative 1/2? Okay. When does the sine of anything equal negative 1/2? For when you equal negative 1/2, that's going to be these angles right here. So that's going to be the sine of 180 plus 30, $210, and the sine of 300, so 210 degrees and sine of 330 degrees. Those are both equal to negative 1/2. So 2 theta equals 210 and 2 theta equals 330. So divide each side by 2. Once again, this all comes from the unit circle. So you got to know your unit circle. And theta is equal to 105. And here, theta is equal to 150 plus 15, 165. 58. 1 minus the cotangent squared theta. Alright. So first of all, subtract 1 from each side. The negative cotangent squared of theta is equal to negative 1. Divide each side by negative 1. The cotangent squared of theta is equal to 1. And when is the cotangent squared? And actually, take the square root of each side. So square root of 1 is 1. So the cotangent of theta is equal to 1. And actually, the cotangent of theta is going to equal to 1 when the tangent of theta is equal to 1. And when is the tangent of theta equal to 1? This is going to be looking at your unit circle values, your trig values. That should be at 45 degrees and 180 plus 45 degrees. So 45 degrees is equal to theta, and also 180 plus 45, which would be 225 degrees. Once again, this comes from knowing your unit circle. Remember, it's when your opposite side is root 2 over 2, and your adjacent side is root 2 over 2. And that is when theta equals 45 degrees, or when theta equals 225 degrees. These would become negative. Alright? So, last, tangent squared minus 3 equals 0. The tangent squared of theta is equal to 3. Root both sides. The tangent squared of theta is equal to these. Sorry. If I take the square root, that means the tangent of theta is equal to the square root of 3. The square root of tangent squared of theta is the tangent of theta, and the tangent of theta is equal to the square root of 3. And when is the tangent of theta equal to the square root of 3? Well, we have 1 over root 3, 1 root 3. So that's going to be when x theta is equal to 60 degrees, and then when theta is equal to 180 plus 60 degrees, because this is positive. So when this is positive, this is in quadrant 1 and 3. That's for tangent. So theta is equal to 60 degrees, and also it's going to be theta is equal to 180 plus 60 degrees, which is equal to 240 degrees. So the answer is theta equals 60, and theta is equal to 240 degrees. All right, that's the packet. Have a great day.